In this lesson, we're going to look at the vertex, the axis of symmetry, and the turning point. The vertex is the highest or lowest point of a quadratic function. Lowest. And the the vertex is labeled as or named as x comma y, so it's an actual point on the graph, okay? It is also on the axis of symmetry. Now, the axis of symmetry is the line that runs through the vertex of the parabola, dividing it into two equal halves, okay? It is represented by this equation, negative b over 2a, when your function is written in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. So you're going to take the a, the b, and the c, the coefficients in front. Remember, if you have an x with no number, it's a 1. If you don't have an x squared, that coefficient is 0. Okay? Now, with the linear function, it is not a parabola, so we do not have a vertex, and we don't have an axis of symmetry. Okay? So let's go ahead and look at the quadratic function. Y equals x squared. I can see that my lowest point is at the bottom here, and my axis of symmetry is actually going to be this line here. It is the vertical line that goes through the vertex, okay? So for our purposes just with the graph, I can see my axis of symmetry is this vertical line that goes through where x equals 0. So remember, to write the equation of a vertical line, it has to be x equals, right? We got to draw a vertical line because we want the line to go through the x-axis, and then your number is just saying where on the x-axis is your vertical line going to intersect. Okay, now for this is our parent function. We have y equals x squared, okay? We could have used the equation for this. This means that my a is a 1, my b is 0, and my c is 0. So if I'm going to use the negative b over 2a, that is a negative 0 over 2 times 1, which is 0 over 2, which equals 0, which gives me the equation x equals 0 for my axis of symmetry. Okay, and then in order to find the vertex, we're going to substitute in our x value and find the y value. So my vertex, I know that I'm at 0 for my x coordinate. I just have to find my y coordinate. So if my equation is y equals x squared, my x value is 0 because I know that from my axis of symmetry. Okay, and so you're going to substitute 0 for x and then simplify. And that tells me my y coordinate. So my vertex is at 0, 0, which we can confirm on the graph right here. And my axis of symmetry is x equals 0, a vertical line cutting that parabola in half. Okay, our cubic function x, or y equals x cubed, does not have a vertex. Instead, we have what's called a turning point, okay? And this is where you are approaching, you can see where your graph changes from being a downward facing parabola. You can kind of see the other half would look like this, to an upward facing parabola, and the other half would look like this. So we see where it makes that turn, and that would be our turning point. And for this graph, it's at 0, 0, okay? In which case, cubic functions have point symmetry. So remember, point symmetry means that you turn it 180 degrees and you get the same graph, the exact same points, okay? So for here, that would be around the point 0, 0, so these are going to be the same, okay? All right, let's look at an algebraic example real quick. If they don't give you a graph, then we can look at the equation, okay? First thing we're going to find is the axis of symmetry, because we know that is negative b over 2a. Okay, so for this equation, my a is 1, because I have x squared, so the number is 1. My B is -1. This -1 out front. And my C is a -6. Okay. So negative B, so this is x equals, a negative B is -1, so negative of a -1 over 2 times A. So this gives me 1 over 2. So here, my axis of symmetry is going to be x equals 1/2, which tells me for my vertex, okay, that 1/2 is my x value. And then I'm going to plug that in for x and solve for y to see what my y value would be. Okay, so that's going to give me y equals, so I have 1/2 squared minus 1/2 minus 6. Okay, you can also do this with a calculator if you want to use 0.5 for 1/2. I'm okay with that. Plug it into Desmos and you'll get -6.25, which sorry, would be the y coordinate of your vertex. So if you go over to Desmos and graph this equation, you should see that there's a vertical line at x equals 1/2, and then the parabola will go on either side, and your vertex, your lowest point, is going to be at 1/2 -6.25. All right, that's your lesson for today. Go ahead and do the check your understanding. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.